The Mustang became a true international star within months of its release. 417,000 units were sold in the first year. Bold numbers, but humble on power. The first Mustang had the same 101 horsepower engine as the Ford Falcon. In '65, more star power arrived. Illustrious automotive designer Carroll Shelby attached his name and talent to the Mustang. By 1967, the Shelby GT 500 had the muscle and style to take on any car in its class. The little six-cylinder now had a big block 428 fire-breathing Big Brother. That same car was later featured in the hit movie Gone in 60 Seconds as the famous Eleanor.
With sheet metal prepped and primed, power is in need of some focus.
The mock-up block for us is a very easy and simple way in order to get an engine and sit it in the car. And because it's a brand new body from Dynacorn, we want to make sure that everything is in the correct place. When we go to bolt the correct engine in place, it'll fit. We lifted the engine into the car the easy way, just by manpower instead of having to use a forklift or a cherry picker. The motor mounts that we're using for this build we haven't used before. They were a prototype, and this is the first time we've got a chance to be able to put them into a car from when they were originally drawn up. So because they're adjustable, it makes it very easy to slide the engine backwards and forwards and left to right for header clearance or for transmission mounting or whatever you might need to do for clearance.
A 1/4 inch here, an 1/8 there, flexibility is something that most builders love to have.
What we did next was go ahead and take out the factory body filler from the seams. We used oxygen acetylene in a very low heat with a wire brush in order to remove the body filler. We find that's the easiest way to get rid of the excess body filler. And then we went ahead and welded up the seams in order that the two metal would not move under the body filler and then cause cracking later on. So in doing that, we're going to have a better finished project. So after I went ahead and welded up the body seams, Miguel went ahead and put in one type of body filler, which is a base material. And then when he was done with that, he went over with a finished body filler.
It isn't a necessary step, but some practices are hard to abandon.
When we were working on the rear valance, we decided that we were going to weld up the seams to make a cleaner appearance. And then in doing that, we might as well just take the bolts out and then weld up the holes where the bolts were as well.
Knowing where this Mustang is headed, Matt intends to give the best he can deliver.
We took the original dash in the Dynacorn car and cut it out with the plasma cutter. And also we used a cut-off wheel. That's the easiest way to remove it. One dashboard.
The interior that we're looking at right now is going to be all Cooper Design original. One-piece headliner, a different type of dash that will appear original, but it's a little bit bigger and a little bit different.
An original headliner in a Mustang has a bow type situation that it just has a sewed type fabric and you have to glue it in. This is going to be a one-piece headliner that is going to fit up into the place of the original headliner, look more like a new car rather than the old 60s styling that it used to have.
A solid headliner also leaves room for some overhead creativity.
We were installing the RRS suspension today, and they come from Australia. They've done a lot of R&D on the suspension that we installed today in order to make it basically the best that's on the market, and that's why we use it. When we originally started the project, we went ahead and installed the rear suspension cross member, which was also going to house the upper shock mounts and also the equal length Watts linkage. Then we went to the center and installed the torque arm cross member, which is up near the rear of the transmission. After doing that, we went ahead and did some welding on the car. When the 67 Mustangs are built, they usually use spot welds and small welds here and there. We like to weld up the complete car. Anywhere we can, we weld it up. It stiffens up the chassis. In installing this new type of suspension, the RRS has designed it so it can be a direct bolt-in, which is pretty much what we did today. So you don't have to weld it in place, you don't have to really cut anything. All that you're doing is getting a drill and drilling all the holes, 5/16 and 3/8 bolt holes in order to install it.
It doesn't fit factory holes, but then which factory are we talking about? If there's one piece of Ford technology that's managed to hang on over the years, this is it. Mustang's rack and pinion steering seems like it will last forever.
So we went ahead and installed the struts. put the top nuts on. Then we moved into putting the lower arms in place. We went ahead and installed the spindles that already had the rotors on them.
Machined rather than foundry components will give this Stang a hot performance look.
After we got those components installed, we went ahead and put the brake calipers on left and right sides. When we install the RRS3 link in the rear, it differs from the original one, whereas they would have had leaf springs left and right and just 2 shock absorbers. So the handling of this suspension is far superior in the way that it would keep the pinion angle correct, and also the ride height is adjustable via the coilover shock absorbers.
Don't look for that 60s sway when this machine goes down the road. This is one tight setup.
We're very happy with the suspension and the way that it went together today. It's as normal when we install it. It's very simple, so we're very pleased with today's work.